All right, here's a side-by-side of ITU and D3 side-by-side. Looking over here, this is the interface for ITU. Sign in in this case, it's a phone. So I took a screenshot of the phone. That way we can get logged into it. So that way you can see how these two interact. All right, so the log on here. Now, on the right there, you're going to be able to pick which truck. So in this case, we only got one truck anyway. But you can, if you've got multiple trucks, you can sign into any of the trucks. Okay, so your landing page will look something like that on the right. And looking at a call that we have spotted to this particular facility, you can put it into assign mode. Now when we put it into assign mode, there's the tech that's available. That's the one that just signed in on ITU to the right. So we can do the assign, and then it'll assign it to it, and that'll bring. Actually, usually there's an alarm that goes off. In this particular case, you just see the run just come up. So you can take a look at the basic information on the run. Now, all assign means is that the technician can now look at the run, make sure that they're good to go, and that they're able to do it and what have you, and then accept it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the run and then take a look at the options inside ITU. Now you'll notice that the first option there was the show on map. So push that. It just brings it up right into Google Maps, and you can see where it's at, so you can kind of get an idea of where you're oriented relative. At the top there where it says calls, that's kind of your default go back to everything. So you push that and you go back to anything. Now here you can see where it says navigate to the breakdown. You can go right straight to Google Maps and then push directions, and it'll give you a route to the actual call. In this case, where they're showing about 28 minutes on Google Maps. Again, this is you just go back into it. Now this over here on the right is the call details. So you end up pressing that. That gives you your call info, the name of the person, breakdown info, type of vehicle you have, the tow info, and the comments that are visible in the green on the D3 side are also visible to the driver in ITU. Again, you go back to call at the top, that brings you back. Then there's a separate thing here for comments where you can just look at the comments by themselves without anything else there. Again, go back to the back button there. Add comments. There's canned comments, then you also got your custom comments that you can put in, anything that you really want. I just put in a couple of letters just so you can see how they can text anything in there they want. So again, you can push the back button at the top where it says calls and call ops and all that. There's also a call images where you can attach pictures to the so there's the camera on the actual phone. You can take a picture and you can attach it to the call. Push calls at the top there. There's the arrow next to it. Go back. There's also an option here to add services. So this actually brings up the kind of what looks like will end up looking like the clearing screen, but you can add services down at the bottom of it. A whole bunch of things in there is jump start, medium duty rate, medium duty service mileage, medium duty fuel, flat risk spare. So if you go out for something and then you need to add a service onto it, you can do it right there. And again, that's in the same thing pretty much that the D3 interface I showed you in the last call. Membership center, swipe card, battery service really are not useful in this particular case, so we'll kind of ignore that for the time being. I don't think they may become usable, but we may not have that interface quite as long. So in this particular case, you've accepted it. We pushed accept. Now you're in the dispatch. Now you'll take a look at D3 on the left side. You'll notice it's still in assign mode, but it's switched to dispatched within a few seconds of actually telling the ITU to switch. Now that's where it is. It's that the next status there, it says ER. Now ER is en route. So if you push the ER, that's going to put it en route. Now at this particular point, you're going to have to put in an ETA. You can do it plus 10, plus 5, plus 1 increments. You can just put it in manually. So we'll just put in, let's say, 25 minutes here. Once you've got that in there, then you push the save button. That will put you in an ER mode, so it changes to ER there, and then it pops over to ER in the D3 interface almost simultaneously. Again, the driver has all the options there, and you can actually go back in statuses right there with the more statuses. So if you need to go back to en route, or if you need to go back to a status before what you have in there, then you're able to do that right there. But for the most part, it's a one button thing. You push the one button and it advances you to the next status. So that's right there where it says next status, and then you got all your call images and services right next to it. So we're going to go ahead and push next status. That'll put us into the next status of being cleared mode. Now you'll notice that on ITU you've got ER, OL, and then TW. We don't have any tow miles, so the next status on a flat repair or flat with spare is not tow, because there's got to be tow mileage. But you'll notice that OL and OL are all the same on D3 and ITU, so they update simultaneously, theoretically. I mean, usually when you press the next status, most of them, it takes a few seconds for it to pop over. Sometimes it's longer than others, but for the most part, it's instantaneous. So the next status is clear. So we're going to close. So you push the CL. Now that'll bring up a dialog box that gives you choices on which code's going to best describe the situation that you're in. So in this particular case, we're going to probably use the install spare tire just for for the demonstration purposes, but there are other options there. At this point, you're going to put in your mileage. So you're going to put in the 2 location mileage right there, and then there's also that services rendered. You can also add your services here. So if you didn't get it the first time, then at the end of the call, you can also add your services here. There's extra things like extra time on there as well. So, and that's something that you can add if if everybody agrees that there was something that held you up or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and put in, I like the word number 25 today. We'll just put in 25 to the location for that. And then once you've got everything you want to enter it in, you push save. Now again, once we get this dialog screen done, it's going to change the status on D3 as well. So push save. The last thing is the clearing code. 99.9% of the time you're going to use O1, which is pay facility charge member. We also have the O2, which might be used in some cases for customer service, and then we've got an XX, which would basically be a cancel or a GOA of some type. There's also a GOA actual closing code there. Again, most of the time it's going to be 99% of the time you're going to be using the O1. If there is a need to use the other clearing codes, probably will be discussed at the time you're going to do it. So once you push to clear, the update, it should update in D3 beyond that. And sometimes, like I said, it takes a little bit longer than others, but in this particular case, it went ahead and cleared. So it's in clear status now. So that's how they work together. That shows you the interface. Although they are different, they are based on the same platform. The nice thing about the ITU, as opposed to a lot of these apps, is it's pretty visible. You can see it. So the letters are big enough, so you really don't have to necessarily get a tablet. You can use it on a phone pretty well. It's pretty useful.